The thing that is right in front of you is a veil of light that is textured and bound to the things that it is interacting with that have mass. Just beyond that veil lies the clockwork of reality. The process that governs the machinations of the real world is experienceable with psychedelics and high levels of cannabis. But every day, our brain uses what's called the default mode network to focus our eyes and ears on things that are relevant to survival. But this is in a context of tribal living with a natural environment at the forefront. This is not within the context of machines and 9-to-5 jobs and polluting societies. So we are about to hit a forced evolution or fail as a species to continue. The light that is right in front of you is your context frame. It's a mere flag to show you what side of the field you're on. You know, and on the other side of that field lie tunnel demons, mandalas, elves, imagination itself. Things that are not really describable to someone in a mind state focused on going to work every day and watching TV. Governments love that. Governments love us to not think about things on a deeper level. So, evolution is such an interesting process because the arguable materialistic viewpoint says that epigenetics alter the DNA of the offspring of an animal to include a sorrow or a negative aspect towards that animal's death from the viewpoint of this offspring after it's been created. Because this would make the offspring's offspring more likely to avoid whatever circumstance led to the original animal's death, viewing it as an end result to the line of lineage and saying, avoid this, avoid this. Well, if epigenetics can cause an animal's body to write a code that programs genes for an offspring to avoid something based on the fact that its parent was killed by that something, and therefore, a non-successful agent had been added to the lineage of that information being passed down. What is writing that code? What is writing that code? The individual? An individual rabbit is doing genetic programming on a subconscious level while it eats carrots. Maybe, because evolution can take a pattern and make that pattern fold on itself and twist and space out and change in all sorts of different ways that create very more complicated patterns. It's like a collage. You zoom out on 1,000 pictures and you see a giant face. Materialism certainly sticks to what's real, for sure. But all it really suggests is the reality that you experience is a hologram created by your body that's projected onto a space that has physical attributes that allow you to determine things like distance, smell, taste, sensation. Because all that's really out there is a bunch of fields and quarks, forces. So time develops in a way that is opposite to most people's viewpoint. It does not go past, present, future. It goes future, past, present. And what I mean by this is that elements that exist in the quote-unquote past, along with elements that exist in the quote-unquote future, are put together by the individual and by the collective consciousness to be a single present moment. It's a hologram. It's an illusion. The light is being held in place by you. So beyond that lie tunnel demons, clockwork, magical voices that communicate information from other lives, spaces with orbs reflecting each other and stuff like that. Just things that exist are not what the government would want you to believe, because they want the default mode network to be performing at highest functionality possible at all times so that you can be a good worker, not a good thinker. They want workers. They want agreeable people. We live so deeply in nobody's running the conspiracy. It's literally who can influence the most in a giant ball of fucking at the ball pit at Chuck E. Cheese. No one is pulling the strings because there are no strings. It's just people throwing wrenches in the spokes. To the point where we've adapted our perception to only see things that are dull, and never trust our senses and never question authority. So beyond the illusion of light being held in one spot is the mental illusion of perception pointing towards energy only. What you see is the result of you paying attention to what actually exists. That's probably a good place to stop.